Hi, this video is entitled How Strong Are Your Boundaries? But one of my questions is, do you need stronger boundaries or do you actually need something else? Hi, I'm Annie. Welcome to the Wising Soul, a space for wisdom, growth, and transformation. Today, I want to talk about boundaries, but probably not in the way you're used to hearing it. I certainly am aware that there's a lot of talk about boundaries right now, either in videos or in books. Speakers address boundaries all the time. However, I'm beginning to wonder if the word itself has become overused, or what I believe, misunderstood. I really wanted to look at the reframing of boundaries. And we know that boundaries are everywhere, certainly physically, and we hope psychologically. I am wondering if they have also become more connected to kind of new age language and marketing, instead of the deeper work that they were originally meant to support. Because boundaries are not just something you say to other people. No, I can't do that. No, I don't want to do that. I believe they are something you first need to say to yourself. You cannot say no to others if you have never said it to yourself. And that is where many people struggle. Not because they don't know how to say no. Certainly you hear toddlers say no a lot. But as adults, because internally we may say no, but we are still saying yes. Yes to overextending. Yes to proving something. Yes to being needed. Yes to being liked. Yes, because we need to feel valued. So that external boundary never really holds. Because the internal agreement, that internal yes we say to ourselves, is still there. Most of the time, you're saying yes inside and not even realizing it, even though you are voicing no. Now, boundaries can be used as a form of control. We are saying we're setting a boundary. We say that to our families, to our partners, to our spouse. We're setting a boundary. However, what we may be doing is just trying to control a situation or another person's response, or We want to avoid discomfort. There is a difference between walls and boundaries. When you put up a wall, you are trying to protect yourself from everything, including a connection with people, a relationship. Boundaries require an awareness. They require a choice that we make. They require us to stay present in the moment. And that is much harder than building a wall. But I feel that this is not the full picture. Because sometimes the issue is not your boundaries. It is your bandwidth. Bandwidth is your capacity. Sometimes I say I just don't have the energy for that. And what I'm really saying is I don't have the bandwidth for that. And when I really know that capacity, I'm being honest. When I'm clarifying my bandwidth, it is what it is. It doesn't respond to pressure from the outside, to any expectations from people, places, things. And it, for me, doesn't respond to guilt. And it is even not based on my age. I did not necessarily have more bandwidth when I was younger. As I say, bandwidth is capacity. It may be my physical capacity or not. It may be my mental capacity or not. It may be my emotional capacity or not. And even my spiritual capacity or not. I have learned to ask myself, can I carry this? Can I carry this well? Can I do this thing and do it well? And if I'm honest, I know when my bandwidth is full. Now, I can just override it. But I've learned the hard way that's where the problem begins. I didn't need stronger boundaries. What I really needed is to stop negotiating with myself with what I already knew that I couldn't carry, that I couldn't handle. Here's a recent example. I was asked to attend a holiday event. However, I was on vacation. And I knew this event would be very enjoyable. And I also knew I wanted to enjoy my vacation, my time off. But I also knew that this time off, it was deeper. I needed to take care of myself. I needed to rest. And that was my priority. And in that moment, I had to recognize my bandwidth. Not what I could do, but what I could do well, what I could carry well. I also had to begin to use a boundary. And in this case, it was just the word no. Not because the event was wrong, the timing was wrong. And if I said yes, I realized it would have been a quiet form of self-betrayal. I have started to really look at boundaries and bandwidth, and then understand that there was a deeper foundation to both of those words, both of those actions. And it was priorities. I call that the truth layer. Because even if I understood my boundaries, even if I understood my bandwidth, if my priorities were unclear, I would still feel pulled. I would feel scattered, off. And I lived my life for a long time feeling scattered and off. Priorities are tricky because they require discernment, and discernment requires honesty. Discernment is what is actually true for myself. It's not just a preference I have, it's not a habit, and it's certainly not what others expect from me. Having discernment has allowed me to choose my priorities wisely. Let me repeat that. Discernment has allowed me to choose my priorities wisely. And as I have learned along the way, what is right is not always what is easy. This integration of boundaries and bandwidth and priorities, I call it a soul level awareness. When I begin to understand my boundaries, my bandwidth, and my priorities, I am beginning to act on a soul level. Because the soul is not trying to do everything. It is only trying to do what is aligned. It is not about the strength of my boundaries. It is all about the alignment and the integration between my boundaries, bandwidth, and priorities. There is no doubt that these changing times call for a soul that is stronger in its center and certainly aware of the moment it is living in. It is not about doing more. It is about understanding what I can actually carry and be honest about it. And my question to you is, do you feel like you need stronger boundaries? Do you need a better understanding of your bandwidth? Do you need to dig down into your priorities? And do you need to do a deep dive into discernment? I call this wising up. And that's the point of this channel. And take what resonates for you and just leave the rest. And I'm very grateful for you for watching, listening. And I hope you subscribe to the channel. It is free. Because we are really wising up together here at the Wising Soul.